Hello and happy Monday, everybody. I am Kate Dillon from Crate Insider here today with Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines, pouring his beer. And happy Monday. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the podcast. And if you've got any tech questions, go ahead and drop them into the comments. How are you doing today, Steve?
Good.
Good. Got all your stuff in order here?
I think so.
Yep, you got it. All right.
I'm like a little OCD on where all the shit needs to sit. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. Yay. Sometimes that's good. Well, being OCD is a good skill for an engine builder.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's good. Great. So tell us, how was your week?
Since last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would admit.
Good.
Yeah.
Anything exciting going on?
Didn't get as much shit out the door as I wanted to, but you'll have those weeks. I mean, we've yeah, it's been a thing.
Yeah, just been busy and like things getting in your way, or you having a hard time with parts? What's going on?
I mean, like, losing power for a couple hours during the day, like, completely screws the whole day up, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that. I mean, it's just been random bullshit here for about the last week or two.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's interesting because problems always take twice as long to solve as if you can just like keep rolling.
Well, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's not like when we were in school, power's out for 10 minutes, we can go home. So you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs until the power comes back on, shit like that. So.
Yeah. Well, and if you're watching us live, go ahead and jump in the comments, say hey, and tell us where you're watching from. We always love to check that out. It's always kind of fun to see
for sure.
where we are. My week was good too. I know you didn't really ask, but I'm going to offer.
I didn't ask, but I figured you'd offer. It's kind of how you are.
Trying to keep it going. No, some really exciting news is the fact that we are, my brother and I, Jimmy Schultz, we are the organizers of the Cars Racing Show. And so the dates for the Cars Racing Show are January 6th and 7th of 2023. Really excited about that. Yep. So just getting started, talking with some exhibitors. We're doing some of our planning, looking for ideas. Like, we want to make this the best show we've done yet. And so there's a lot of ideas floating around. And I think in the coming couple of weeks here, we're going to be sending out some surveys.
Well, I mean, since we have a climate emergency, according to Joe Biden, the weather will probably be great for that event.
Oh, true. It's January.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be like right now. It might be 80 degrees. We don't know.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Yeah. So glad to know that. All right. I see Dave Hammond is here. Hello from the great state of Iowa. And Dave Hammond from Hammond Motorsports is already signed up to be at the Cars Racing Show. So I'm really excited. I mean, Dave's going to be bringing his booth and he'll be there. Hopefully he'll be at 100% health.
I'm hoping he's alive this year.
100% health. Yeah, it's really not a laughing matter. He's been out of work.
It's not a laughing matter, I know.
Yeah, he's been out of work for a while.
It's Dave, so I can still laugh at him because of this.
Oh, well, that's true.
Because it didn't happen to me.
Oh, wow.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I should be wearing my Karma shirt right now. I have a shirt that says
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, no. It says, I saw that. It's a quote, and then it's signed Karma. All right, Jeremy Siri says, hey y'all, good seeing y'all at the track on Saturday. Yes, I saw you in the trailer there, and I didn't get really a chance to talk with you, but I know you guys were talking about gears or something. So it's always great to see you for sure. And it
was a shit show. Jesus Christ.
You're not gonna bash anybody.
I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just telling you, it's like
I'm
not impressed with how that shit went down.
It was a lot longer than just really, really long. Really
needlessly long.
Yeah.
So
I was shocked that it took less time to qualify the 604s than it did to run the 15 heat races for the other divisions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one would think that, it only takes 10 minutes to qualify 21 cars versus,
4 heat races for each division.
No bloody time limits on heat races. And, everyone goes as long as humanly possible.
It was wild. See, Brian's here saying hi. Howdy. Oh, I like in his profile picture, anybody who's listening on the podcast, his Facebook profile picture shows a coffee cup that says Facebook jail inmate.
All right. That's awesome.
He could join you.
I could join me. I'm in there like all the time. I'm constantly trying to defend my memes I post every Friday.
I mean, in this weekend, you
Yeah.
got a strike.
I got dinged, and then I had to like object to it, and then they came back and were like, "Oh, okay, well, it's all good."
The crazy thing
because it was a Hunter Biden meme with him in his underwear.
Yeah,
and it was like this is not appropriate. This goes against freaking Facebook community standards
because it was sexually something.
It was sexually explicit or some shit.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, so I disputed it, and of course they realized, oh my god, it's Hunter Biden. No, it's all good.
Yeah. Also, it was from when you posted it like a year or 2 years ago. Yeah. Crazy pulling out the archives. I mean, come on. I mean, even as a business, a Facebook post lasts like 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
I mean, that's like its lifespan.
Right.
So yeah, unbelievable. And Darren is here. Said good evening, listening in from Durango, Colorado. I have been to Durango, spent some time there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Durango's a really cool place. Cool. It's in southern Colorado, and I think it's southern. Yeah, it's right by New Mexico. It's not too far from there. But there's this really cool train, the Durango Silverton train, and it goes from Durango to Silverton. I mean, it's been several years since I've been there, but I hope it's still in operation. It's really, really neat. I just like riding on a train. Oh, and I see Tori is here. She said it's going to be the best show yet, talking about the Cars Racing show.
Isn't she on vacation?
She is on vacation.
What are you doing watching this shit while you're on vacation?
I miss Tori. Yes, I miss
It's
Tori.
just weird. She's probably like got spidey senses going, oh, they're going to talk about me while I'm gone, so I'm going to watch.
Of course. Like how much I miss Tori. Yeah. Because no, I totally
I actually showed up at the shop today to like drop something off to you, and it's like she's in there like sweating like crazy.
There was like sweat. I was sweating my own sweat, and it was like dripping down my face. Yeah, it was not
pretty awful.
Yeah, all by myself, putting stuff on the shelf. It's all good. All right, Jeff's here. He says, I guess the trip to Ukraine is on hold. So.
Yeah, well, still go, but might not like the what's going on right now.
Oh, and Jeremy is weighing in on the weekend experience. He says, hey, I saved more fuel on Saturday after they folded my shit up on the front stretch on lap 4. Yeah, it was a shit show.
That's true.
And Stanley says, always fun to catch you live. We all appreciate the time you take to do these. Oh, well, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Oh, and Tori says why she's here. She says, because I miss Kate. That's why. Oh, we have a wonderful office.
You have a ass-kissing employees, what you got?
Well, then am I an ass-kissing boss?
Yeah, well, I mean, you might want to. Just saying.
Oh my gosh, you're so wrong. You're so bad. So bad. I did get a question today from someone, and I screenshotted it. So if you want to read it, you can read it, or I can read it.
You can read it.
Okay, so from Steve, he says, I will be at work this evening, but if you could bring up and talk about these ignition systems and which one would be the best option, and this is for a 604, and this is in their rules. And then there's going to be a couple things to talk about here because
no,
yeah, well, you'll see in a minute. Right. So here's the rule. All cars must have any of the following ignition boxes. All ignition boxes must be mounted on the right side of the dash within 6 inches of the A post. First option, crane cams ignition part number 6000-6701.
Which doesn't exist.
No, because crane cams was sold to crane ignition. Crane ignition was sold to Comp Cams, which owns Fast.
Yep.
So that was several years ago. This next option, Fast ignition system, part number 6000-6700 or 6000-6701,
which does not exist.
No, it does not exist anymore. They couldn't get the motherboards without having to redesign them. So this was about a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So
they were actually having another company produce them for them.
Yeah, and that went sideways or something. Yep. And so that doesn't exist either. And that's why I wanted to bring this. I could have just answered.
It's a good topic.
But for us to walk through them.
This is obviously an asphalt deal. So.
Right. And then thirdly is JMS Daytona Sensors CD1 Super Speedway Ignition System 6000-6701K. Now, I'm not familiar with that.
I have no idea what that is.
But from what I understand, I think, okay, so I'm going to I'm going to say something that I don't know is 100% true. And what I'm going to say is that I believe that this is the company that was originally making those motherboards.
Oh, okay.
I think was making them. And then something about the negotiations kind of fell through, whatever, with Fast. So if that exists, that's really your only play here. Because
well, what's the fourth option?
There is no fourth option. Those are the three options.
Well, that is the stupidest shit I've ever heard of.
Well, I mean, this is why a lot of times rules, when we take a look at them, that has been what I've noticed over the years of looking at these rules. Well, no, it's straight up like copy paste, right. And just slap a new date at the top of it and call it the new rules without actually, really kind of refreshing. Is this the best thing, or is it even viable?
Right. And
I think that's some important information that you can share with your series. Whoever has these rules out there, feel free to share that with that series.
Well, I definitely need to update shit every now and again. So.
Well, yeah. So somebody's got to let them know that those other things are unobtainium, like literally unobtainium.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get them.
Oh, but it's interesting. I did talk to Count Cams today, and I am happy to say that, I've had Fast Firewire on order for more than a year, since August of 2021 is my last back order. Well, I called, and I've called so many times that the lady on the phone was like, are you the lady that calls and you always order this and you order all of them that we have? I'm like, yes, that's me. Are there any? She's like, can I just put them on back order? Because I didn't even remember I had one. And she's like, well, it looks like we have 6, but I'll find out if we can get more. So it was like, send them,
oh, yeah.
send them. I'll sell them and make more, please. So anyway, she's going to check into that. It was fun. All right. So we got another question here. Mm-hmm. Chase says, I bought a carb from a guy you recommended, Kate. I'll let you know how she runs soon. Might need a big Crate Insider sticker to run on the mod. Thanks for everything you guys do. Awesome. Cool. Great. That's great. Oh, Richard Clue is here. We haven't seen Richard forever. Exactly. Says the cooking fan with bolt up blades worth the money, and does it cool?
You're talking about
the cooling fan. The race fan.
Race fan. Yeah, mm-hmm. It is. It works great. Obviously you can, alternate how many blades that you actually need in order to tune it to the cooling that is required for your, whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've got them on everything. That's what I run on my kid's car, everything else.
Yeah. Well, and then we've got 3 different sizes. You can get a 15, 17, or 19 hitch. So there's 3 different sizes. Yeah. And do you have some recommendations on that? That's something I hear a lot.
Generally, we've got a 17-inch 2-blade on Alex's just because of the E85 that we're running. Normally that requires that you still have a really good shroud built, obviously. I've got a couple guys running, 2 or 3 blade 19-inch. Again, you still want a shroud no matter what you're doing. But generally that's the 2. The 15, I found it to where it's like really kind of hard to cool this stuff this time of year with 15-inch.
Well, let me ask you this. You don't really work with that many modifieds, though, do you?
Modifieds, no.
Because I think that really the 15 was
different. Well, we do, but not anything, like MIDI stuff or, Midwest stuff that runs methanol, shit like that. 2-blade 15-inch fan on methanol. But
no, I'm thinking like the 4-blade 15-inch for a modified. Also, they've got smaller radiators. Right. A lot of times.
Yeah.
So
hard to say on that.
That's where I sell more of the 15s, but the 17 is the most.
The just cool thing about it is, once you buy the hub, you can always change blade diameter. So mm-hmm. You're not limited to what you can do other than what you want to spend to, on blades and all that. You buy the blade, you buy the first one blade and hardware kit, and you can always change blade diameter.
Well, yeah, and then you already
have the hardware kit and the hub.
Mm-hmm. So. And then the blades are $40 a piece, or at least they have been actually for years, haven't gone up in price.
Honestly, that's one of the few things that I've run across that has not just gone up stupid in price.
Yeah, so, and that's Ken Anderson at Grand Prix Engineering and Race Fan, who, by the way, he was one of the very first people to go ahead and sign up to be exhibit at the show.
Car show. Good.
Yep. So he'll be at the Cars Racing Show. All right, Ronnie has a question. He says, are stainless headers for a 604 or coated headers any difference on the dyno?
So if you take a stainless header, I mean, like I'm talking like same brand. So let's take a Profab for instance. If you take a stainless versus a mild steel, when those headers are brand new, no, there's no difference. And I'm not even talking coated mild steel. I'm just talking regular. No, you're going to see no difference on the dyno. Where you're going to see a difference is as they age, you're going to have scaling on the inside of the header tubes. And once you start getting that scaling, then yeah, there's going to be a difference. What difference that is, that's hard to measure. We just know that's the way it is because airflow. But there's going to be a difference. I can't tell you what that is. I guarantee it will be something. Probably not the difference between winning and losing a race, but it's going to be something.
Well,
fucking bug. God
and
damn it.
And in that difference, which would be better, the coated headers or the stainless headers?
Well, then at that point, you probably want to coat the inside, I would think. But even, I mean, talking to Andy and stuff, they don't even recommend coating the inside of them due to actually deteriorates the life of the header.
Yeah. I've also talked with
because it contains the heat. And all there's a bunch of shit that goes into that.
Well, yeah, that's what I've talked to Dynatech before about header wraps, and that you think that you're insulating like your engine from the header heat, but really what you're doing is just heating up the headers.
Correct.
And so that's why we haven't done them.
Which is not a thing that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously, I always recommend stainless. I mean, that's not in everybody's budget. So mild steel, I mean, to me personally, you're probably going to go through in the lifespan of a stainless header, which is essentially God forever, unless you're
shaking us here.
Or sorry, unless you get them knocked off the race car. I mean, the mild steel stuff. I mean, gosh, we'll go through. I mean, again, depending on the quality of the tibbing that they use and how they're put together and all that stuff. I mean, you can go through. I mean, really mild steel, like 2 sets a year. I've seen guys do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just depending on the quality of the header.
Gotcha. All right.
So Profabs, no, those will last you several years, but they're or BAs or whatever. I mean, a good quality header is going to be mild steel is going to last you quite a while, but you're still going to end up breaking them.
Yeah.
Whereas the stainless stuff really just doesn't break.
Yeah.
If they're built correctly.
Okay, great. And Greg has a question. Do you think a new 602 will hold up to 10 pounds of boost? 650 horsepower will blow through carburetor on gasoline. Rule change hurt the 602 against the open engine, but the rules don't say anything about a turbo. Turbo on a 602. That's fun. Is this one of those like questions you've never been asked before?
Well, obviously not, because it's not something that's normally legal in anywhere to run a turbo. I'm just sitting here thinking about 9-to-1 motor with a cast piston and 10 pounds of boost on whatever fuel
gas
that you're allowed to gasoline. Yeah. It might for a short time. You might win a couple races, but ultimately I think you ended up breaking a piston. But
yeah, either that or it's not against the rules now.
I mean,
it soon will be.
I mean, yeah, right. You done ratted yourself out.
Yeah, it's good for 1 to 2 races, until they go, yeah, we didn't say you could, so that means actually you can't.
I mean, the powdered metal rod would be a concern, but I think the piston filled for the rod, because powdered metal rods, I mean, they're pretty good as far as impact load.
Mm-hmm. Great. All right, Brian, as he says, fired up our 525 Saturday with the Profab headers. Hope to dyno soon.
Yeah, nice.
Great.
All right.
Great. And Justin says, okay, 2-parter here. All right. What is the absolute best carb for an E85 carb, as well as what is the best care for E85 during winter months? Not the when you're not racing. So first of all, I'll start off with the best E85.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to be biased, and I'm going to say it's my brother's. That being said, I mean, there's, gosh, you're talking so close on everyone's stuff, whether it's my brother's carburetor, whether it's David Smith or Stealth or Willys or whatever. Everything's just so close. I mean, I'm going to say us, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, any of those you can't go wrong with. I really haven't dynoed a whole lot of other people's stuff other than, the ones I just mentioned. We've seen a few other things and they're just random stuff. But yeah, I mean, that would be the ones I'd go with. As far as like, maintenance during the winter, I mean, the main thing with the E85 is you don't want it to dry up in the system. So if it dries up anywhere in the system, because it's like take whiskey and pour it on the ground, or take, moonshine, pour it on the ground, let it dry. What's it do? It's sticky as shit and it's nasty. Well, that's what happens in the fuel system. So the main thing is don't let it dry out in the fuel system.
And it creates a film.
Correct.
Okay.
As far as engine wise goes, if you're running that E85, then, we'll normally like fog the engine during winter.
Okay. Next question. Jeff Smith Racing asks, Montana in the house. Awesome.
Nice.
What kind of vacuum does a 604 have? Can you explain how the power valves in the carburetor work and how to tune for a 604?
I can't, because I'm not a carburetor guy. So no, I'm sorry, I can't. That would be a good question for my brother.
He will never, ever be on camera.
We'll probably never get him on the show. It would probably, it'd be a good question for Willie or David Smith or somebody like that. So no, I can't. So hate to not be able to answer a question, but if I told you something, it would probably be a lie, or we're using the laptop camera.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I know you're shaking.
But no, I don't, I can't answer that accurately.
Okay, fair. All right, Stuart's here. Good day, mates. Our friend here from Australia. Freezing my arse off down here, but looking forward to the season coming. Yep. And Brandon's here. Hello, guys. Always enjoy the show. Thank you so much for being here. And Brian asked a question for you, Steve. How backed up are you on the dyno?
Dyno wise, not that bad. So there's like a couple days I have blacked out, just family stuff, like my brother's moving my niece to college, stuff like that. But if you give me a shout, we can get you booked in there.
Great. Okay. And now here's a good question. Brandon asks, how often should you rebuild a 602?
Okay. It's like anything else. So what I normally recommend is, number one, buy a leak down tester. Mm-hmm. And then start leaking the motor down about every 10 races, which 602, I'm going to say it's like every other time you change valve springs. 604, I normally recommend every 10 races on a 604. As far as valve springs, 525 about the same. But so about every other time on a 602. Leak it down about every 10 races. So long as you're not showing a high percentage of leak down, continue running it. There's no reason not to. Mm-hmm. So usually how often you have to rebuild it is directly related to how well you do maintenance and how much dirt the motor's breathing or whatever your racing environment is.
Good to know.
In other words, the first thing that's going to go is the rings normally.
Okay.
So.
Great. And Ben had, this is going to be good. I can just tell from the first sentence.
There's Ben. Fairfax.
Yep. Just an Aussie sitting in a bar in Tahiti, watching the best 360 sprint car division in Australia change to a Prosprint to allow CT525 Crate. Thoughts? How many nights do you get off of one?
Gosh, if we can get them again, which is the problem we're having right now. Yeah. God, that'd be awesome.
Oh, they're all in Australia. Now we know what happened to the 525s.
No, it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome for a sprint car, and that's a popular thing over here now is a sprint car with 525. Mm-hmm. Good Lord, before they have to be rebuilt again, how well you take care of it. I'm gonna say 30 something races, 35, 40 races, honestly. Mm-hmm.
At least.
Because those things just run forever.
Mm-hmm. It's an LS motor.
Yeah.
They're meant to they're just meant to go at higher performance than your regular.
Well, they're a quote unquote hand built engine from GM, whereas the 604s and the 602s are like more of a production line built.
Now, was that Real quotes, or was that like air quotes?
It's air quotes.
Oh, okay.
You can never really, yeah.
Whose hand?
Who really knows?
Whose hand?
Whose hand
Right.
is it?
That's right.
But no, I mean, honestly, yeah, I mean, gosh, we've run 525s again, like 35, 40 races over here in dirt late models, and it's not been an issue.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Brian says, how long does it take to dyno?
Generally, I mean, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you're trying to do. I mean, I think you said you had the 525.
Yes,
right?
correct. Yeah.
Generally, gosh, 525 you can't do a whole lot with as far as like tuning. I mean, we're obviously we do carburetor adjustments, stuff like that, but your timing curve is going to be pretty much set in stone, and then from there it's just carburetor adjustments, stuff like that. So hour and a half at the most.
Well, a really important thing that you don't usually bring up, but I'm going to bring up because I've seen lots and lots of people show up to the dyno.
Yeah.
And my big suggestion in order to have the most successful dyno session is bring your car as if you had to unload it and go run a feature race. That would be the more prepared you can be. If you can absolutely bring your best, then you'll put yourself, you'll just put yourself in a great situation. Now, if you know you're having a problem and you've taken it as far as you can go, I mean, totally alert the guys and let them know. But I've seen where guys will show up and next thing you know, their entire car needs to be replumbed or their tire card. Like, it was like, wow. I mean, you couldn't have even unloaded and run hot laps with this. What the heck? And it's a whole different story if you're coming with your chassis and you're putting your engine in there. There's I don't mind the plumbing stuff in the sense that, I mean, a lot of times with people, they just don't know about certain things or helping to rewire something. Yeah. If you're aware of it, it's fine. Even if you're not, because they might not be themselves. So you might find an issue where, the mag pickup wire is running next to the coil wire, wrapped around it, going out, through the foot box and shit like that. And, I'm not talking 525, but like, no, shit like that. I don't mind untangling that and showing the guy how it needs to be run. I'm not going to run it for him unless he wants to pay me to do it, but I'll show him how to do it. All that stuff. That's not a big deal. The problem I've got is like when, you show up and like the battery's dead. Mm-hmm. So now all of a sudden we got to charge a battery for an hour before we can even dyno. Yeah. And that it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. And that just kind of gets things off on the wrong foot per se. Yeah. So that was just, and it can happen. I mean, problems occur. So that's not a big deal. They can, but and you guys can get past them. There's no excuse not to show up with a dead battery. So that's fair. That's fair. Well, I mean, at least try to bring your best anyway. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, not a big deal. I mean, we're there to help them regardless. But again, like, if we schedule it at 9:00 and you show up at 9:00 and then we got to wait for an hour while the battery charges enough to even start the car up to even move it in the dyno room, then we got to have a battery charger on the entire time while we're dynoing. That's a pain in the ass. And you've got somebody else on the schedule. And you might. Yeah. That's where we try to do one a day. Oh, okay. Well, for a while just because we still have to do work. Well, of course, but a lot of times you would have like a full dyno day, especially before these big races. Right. And then you might have 2, maybe even 3 a day. Correct. And like you said, you still have to do work. Yeah. But it's just like, so I will tell you this. Anytime I make an appointment, I don't care if it's a hair appointment or a doctor's appointment, I'm almost always the very first appointment of the day because I don't want to be the result of getting stacked up on. Well, the main thing is just like, make it like you're going to go to a race. Yeah, that's it. You're going to unload a race. If you do that, everything will work out fine. And normally at that point is an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. All right. Stuart's back. He says, now shit's back to normal down here in Australia. Mm-hmm. When y'all coming for a visit? The VB is on me. Dude, I would love to. My brother-in-law, he was just here. Yeah. So he's still my brother-in-law. Yeah. So my son's uncle, he was just here. What? Gosh, less than a month ago. A month ago. Yeah, it was probably a month ago. Yeah. Well, the NASCAR race. Yeah. Memorial Day weekend. Came down for that. Mm-hmm. So, he got to spend a bunch of time. I got to spend a bunch of time with him here, which is great. Really anytime he shows up, because God, I knew the kid when he was like that fucking tall.
But I call him a
Like-
kid. He's not a fucking kid, but now, but
Yeah,
you know.
30 something.
So yeah, I would love to. I know I can go over and stay with him anytime I want. So
Yeah,
it might be in the future.
cool. All right, Justin has a good question. He says, is bigger always better? For a 604 CFM wise, what is the best on E85? And who is your brother?
All right. So no, bigger is not always better. As a matter of fact, we're going the opposite way. So when we're talking a carburetor, we're down to 600 CFM Venturi size on the billet center section stuff, which is our most popular carburetor that we're doing. Number one, because it flows 835, 40 CFM. And the intake manifold is already basically kind of too big for that engine anyway. So we're actually picking up a ton of torque by going with that smaller Venturi size carburetor. So no, bigger is not always better. Now, methanol wise, that can vary a little bit. Of course, we don't do methanol stuff, but from back in the day when we used to run methanol, I can tell you that back then, yeah, bigger was usually better, but not in this application. My brother, Mike Hendren.
Yeah, Mike Hendren.
Yeah,
also at Hendren Racing Engines.
He used to own MCT, so Mike's Custom Tanks. He built oil tanks for Rocket for years and everything else.
Great. All right, I'm changing cameras.
All
right. So, see, now you know why I use the webcam, because it's so much brighter.
Well, it's a wiggly table. So.
I know. All right, next up, Chris says, "Hey, Steve, what's up, bud?"
Oh, hey, Chris, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
How are you? I see you're getting the Hall of Fame stuff together for Antioch. So.
Oh, great! Yeah. And of course, you were a winner last year.
Yep.
Justin says, "Another two-parter again.
All right.
Is bigger always better?" Oh, this is the same thing. Okay. What is the week-to-week maintenance? Because we just talked about this, the CFM wise for 604 and 85. Right. We just talked about that in that other question. But also, what is basic week-to-week maintenance on a 604? Well, any engine really.
Well, no, like on the 604, normally what I recommend is obviously, pull the valve covers off after every week. You don't necessarily, I mean, it's a hydraulic lifter engine, so it's not like you need to set the valves every week like a open engine where it'd be a solid, lift cam. So that's not a thing. So basically on a 604, obviously you want to be pulling the valve covers, make sure you don't have a broken spring, test springs, do all that stuff. I mean, maybe you're anal and you want to run a leak down test every week. I mean, I've got customers that actually do that, which I think is a little bit overkill, but certainly I'd be pulling the covers and making sure you don't have a broken spring. That being said, this newest design spring that GM has come out with, not the blue one, but the normal spring colored spring. I have yet to see one of those break. I'm paranoid about broken springs because that's a huge damn deal. It's going to cost you a lot of money if you're trying to run with a broken valve spring because you're going to be blowing shit up. Other than that, I mean, obviously oil change scenarios, stuff like that, but there's not a whole lot of maintenance that you can really do to one because
change the spark plugs.
It doesn't really need one, or it doesn't need a whole lot of maintenance.
Yeah.
Spark plug wise.
How often do you change spark plugs?
Again, about every 10 races. So when you're doing your leak down tests about every 10 races, change spark plugs. Spark plugs are cheap, really cheap. Oil's cheap. So just any normal maintenance item is something that should be going on.
Okay. And Brian got the point. Like, bring it race ready.
Yeah. I mean, that was a long way around saying bring it race ready. Exactly. Sorry about that. But yeah, essentially that's it.
Exactly. All right. Brian says we got 3 championships with just maintenance, over 50 races.
Yep.
Asphalt, quarter-mile track, 50 laps a night. Sold it and it's still going. Our track does not allow rebuilds. Worst cylinder was 11% leak down. As long as you don't abuse it, it will live a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's incredible. I mean, 3 championships is just
asphalt's a little bit different than dirt. I mean, the motor's not just inhaling dirt the entire time.
Right.
So, I mean, the worst thing you're going to get in there is like, rubber.
Oh, and his was a 602 engine.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I thought he was talking about a 525, but with the 602, that's a good.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, 11% after that amount of time is good. That means you're actually taking care of it. And again, it's not inhaling dirt. So
yeah, that's for sure. But those things are pretty bulletproof. I mean, we've never tested that. We've never shot an engine or anything because I would say they're like bulletproof. But be kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't have a Barrett 50 cal to try it out, but
regular bullet. Well, what do you mean, like those high caliber bullets, like a 9mm?
I have a buddy with a 338 Lapua. We might try it.
No, you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, all right. And Justin asks, check timing after every race, or is it like that one cooking deal? Set it and forget it.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't set it and forget it because, I mean, obviously after a certain amount of time, you're going to have distributor gear wear and stuff like that, which is going to change timing by a minute amount. But yeah, I mean, I would certainly keep an eye on it. I mean, if you got the distributor in there and you set the time in and the shit's locked down, it should be locked down. Now, fucking goddamn now. So I would, I mean, check the timing. I mean, yeah, that's something else. I mean, it takes you no time at all. So no pun intended, but I would, I mean, that's something else you can do as well. So it's common sense, honestly. There's no magic to it. It's just common sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know this, but Nat's also driving me crazy.
Motherfucker. I'm about to kill it. Tried to kill it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't have any other questions right now. So keep asking your questions. But look what I found.
Oh, your pod deck?
Yes, our pod decks. Our pod decks here. And I thought we haven't used these in a while. And these are kind of fun. So I've got Would You Rather, What the
And
Heck?
by the way, I'm trying to quit smoking. So I'm puffing the fuck out of this damn thing. And if anybody wants to try to quit smoking, those things work pretty damn good because I've gone from 2 packs a day down to less than a pack a day. So
and any for our
that's like a week.
And any of your podcast listeners who aren't seeing the video, that's if you hear the scratchy sounds, it's him fiddling with it, and it's coming through on the microphone. So all right, we actually did get a couple more questions here. Okay, so Chad asked, didn't Steve say something here a while back about running a dishwashing liquid in the coolant?
Yes.
To do the same thing as water wetter? Mm-hmm. That's what I was told. I was just making sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's basically Dawn liquid dish soap, like the blue shit. You go to a dollar store and buy for 99 cents. Mm-hmm. Like a little bottle about that big. 1 cap full of that. Acts as a water wetter. You don't have to buy the expensive stuff. Great.
And Brian asks, how are you supposed to charge the EV with the power out? Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and why is our power out when we got our coal-fired power plant down here, charging up EVs and everything else?
Because of our stupid damn lightning storms and shit we get here all the time.
Oh, all of the time. So much. At least we haven't had so much rain that it's flooded this year so far.
It hasn't been horrible yet, no.
Yeah.
I mean, knock on wood.
Gosh, quit hitting me. Does that DV? Right on camera.
Domestic violence on camera.
I know.
Oh my God, I'm going to jail.
If you watch enough Amber Heard and Johnny Depp stuff, then everything's all domestic abbreviation. Violence. Well, no, you can't say that because then YouTube will take you down. So that's why they do the abbreviation.
I got you.
Yeah. All right. And Chad says, cool, thanks. Appreciate what y'all do. Great. Yes.
We have fun doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any current events this week that are really that interesting. It's just the kind of the same.
Other than Biden getting COVID after being quadruple vaxxed and boosted and all the crazy shit, which is pretty hilarious. Because, there is video of him going, if you get these shots, you won't get COVID.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it just adds to the ridiculousness of it all.
Oh my God, I'm so over that shit.
Oh, and Brian says Duke Energy has a lot of nuclear power plants. Absolutely.
They do, actually,
You know, I mean, that's one thing about living in North Carolina. We have a lot of nuclear power here.
Yep.
I would like to see more nuclear power plants being built. I mean, that's
well, and
needs
that
to be the
comes from
future.
somebody who is a, you know, you believe in that climate change shit, and you.
It's not a religion.
No,
I mean-
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you.
Yes, my training.
You're actually trained or
Yeah,
educated.
my
in
education
some
is
stuff.
design and sustainable design.
Right.
Is what I used to do.
Yep.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, where
I'm
our
not
power
making
comes
funny.
from.
I'm just saying.
Right. No. I mean, you've had plenty of times. Sometimes you just like to
I'll
stir
just
me
fuck
up.
with you, but
It doesn't even work anymore.
I
I
know.
mean, it's like I know what you're doing. Like,
but no, yeah,
okay.
I mean, nuclear energy is the best way to go. I mean, God, I watched a video today. It was like one of those giant freaking, I don't know, wind farm things in Texas or whatever, you know, that can't sustain power for people.
Right.
Anyways, it got hit by lightning. So the whole damn thing exploded and is like on fire and still turning. And then like the fire department couldn't get close enough to put it out because
It's so monstrous.
it's so monstrous and it's gonna like fly apart.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
hilarious.
Oh wow. I mean, it's incredible to see how long those blades are.
Greta Thunberg would have lost her shit by all the oil smoke and paint smoke and everything else. Solid black smoke going up in the air. She would have said, "How dare you?
You've ruined my childhood.
Ruined my childhood with this
Yeah.
lightning strike."
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yes. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Alan says, "Hey guys, Steve, I have a header exhaust leak right where the tubes connect to the collector. Should I be concerned? The leak is small."
Other than the annoying noise, no. If you got somebody with a I don't know what kind of header you got, but if you got somebody with a MIG welder or a TIG, primarily, I prefer TIG. I'd just, you know, tack the hole up.
I've got a welder right here.
Yeah. Don't let Kate do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't turn out that good. But I mean, no, other than the annoying.
I really do.
So there's not going to be the risk of having a, you know, a burnt valve because you've got a little leak right there at the tube. The flange rather.
We are in my sort of living room, and I legit have a welder sitting right here. I just haven't brought it back to the store yet. I am going to set it up there, but it needs to have its own home. All right. Banks has a question: running at 525 on E85 and lost fuel pressure, had new foam in the fuel cell, new fuel filter, and had all the lines cleaned. Can the Waterman reverse mount pumps go bad or the regulator? What's a good place to start troubleshooting? I
have not honestly seen a Waterman pump ever go bad. So I would probably not worry that much about that part of it. I would start at the cell because unless the foam is actually rated for E85, then you could have the foam actually coming apart. Or E85 methanol, that's got to be rated for.
Right.
So the foam can be coming apart and fuel filters clogged up like a slam full of fuel cell foam. So I'd start at the back, work to the front.
Good deal. I can't wait to read this one. Shane says, my matched rocker arms must have lost their rating this weekend. I ran 5th.
Yeah, that's a thing. I think you asked me what happened last week. I think I had about 4 or 5 questions from people on that stuff. And
yeah.
Good God almighty.
Yeah. Yeah. Mikey's here. He says, do you happen to know when the next street stock class is with the Race Logic Chassis School? Mikey, great question. I don't have the dates yet. I just talked to Brian Littleton this last week and we chatted. We didn't really nail down any particular dates yet, but I would look for somewhere between January and March of next year, depending on where it's going to be. I mean, we're looking at the Midwest, just really everything's kind of in planning stages right now.
There's a lot of different street stock rules around the country too. So I would assume it's going to be more like located depending on what the rule package is, because it's going to be different here than it's going to be in, I don't know, Iowa. It's going to be different in Iowa than it's going to be in California. You know, shit like that.
No, Iowa and California are going to be the same because that's all going to be IMCA stock cars.
Okay.
And so that's why I took Alex to Nebraska
That's
a
right.
couple
I
years ago.
remember. Yep.
And that particular year, we did the metric street stock class in the South down in Alabama.
Right.
And then we did the IMCA stock car class in the Midwest. And from what I understand, there's some really interesting things cooking with the street stock and like the IMCA kind of street stock or stock car, as far as who's Brian is talking to.
Okay.
Brian kind of always laughs at me because he's like, so I've got this really famous guy. The name's not going to mean anything to you because a lot of times I tell you somebody's famous and you're like, yeah, I don't know who that is.
Right.
And he goes, but just trust me. This guy is trust me. This guy's won a lot of championships. Like people know him. And anyway, so he kind of laughs at me on that. But no, that's really exciting. And it just also just gives me the opportunity to chat a little bit. If you haven't seen it before, check out Race Logic Chassis School, racelogic.vip for the last 3 years, I guess. So 2020, 21, and 22. Well, I've actually been working with Brian a lot longer than that as a speaker. Like I would go and do just a little bit talking about fire suppression. But then back in 2020, even before COVID lockdowns, I mean, none of that was a thing yet. And we decided to film the first one and put it up as an online class. And that's been incredibly successful as far as how many racers we've been able to help throughout the country and throughout the world that could watch these. So very exciting.
Might want to get rid of that bullshit.
Snooze.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. Something about Windows in their updates. All right. Justin says, only reason for so many questions is I'm debating on swapping from the East Tennessee Sports and Motor deal to a 604 so we can race more at different places next year.
All right. I'm not familiar with the Sportsman Motor, but I mean, I can highly recommend the 604. I mean, and like if you can race more places, there's no downside to that. So.
Yeah, gives you a lot more choices and options.
Correct.
Absolutely. All right. Brian said, seen plenty riding between Wake Forest and Winston-Salem. Did I get it?
No, that motherfucker's like still flying around.
Yeah. Oh, Doug says California is shutting down our nuclear power plant. Shaking my head.
Are you serious? Oh my God. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't understand. I just don't understand. Oh, Donine says, do the cards. Do the cards. I think we want you pick red, green, or white.
I don't even know what they are. So you pick.
Okay. There we go. We'll do green. Do green.
Just
we'll
make
do
sure
one
you
of
don't have
these.
any more questions where you start that.
I will. Okay. Let's see. Alan says, we're going to grab these really quick here. Actually, Alan says, unable to reach leak right in the middle of the tubes. Oh, the guy who has the leak. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to be an annoying little ticky, weird sound. So ultimately, it's not going to affect anything.
All right. Let's grab a card and then we'll grab another question. What's your card say?
What nickname have you been called that you hate?
So what nickname have you been called that you hate?
That's for you.
Oh no, I meant for that to be for you.
What?
Yeah.
I had to read it. So it's for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any. I think most of the nicknames that I wouldn't like, people don't say to my face.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
So like B word or something?
Probably. Yeah. Have you ever licked a battery?
Yes. A 9-volt.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next up. Then here, Connie says, hey, how are y'all? Is there any benefit running Profab crossover header versus a Schoenfeld header?
Like new versus new, they're probably very similar. But yeah, if you're doing the stainless stuff and you're using our anti-reversion muffler on that Profab, there's a very significant torque advantage.
Yeah, great. And saying that this is for a 602. So I figured you probably figured that out right here. And Brian's here. Actually, he says, Mikey, details are coming soon on a big one. Talking about the Race Logic chassis school with the street stocks. And Mikey says, Vaughn Stone, let's do it. So Vaughn's a great guy. He's the one that started Pit Skylights, the original lights that go on the back of the
The ones that are
trailers.
not copied by the bunch of hacks that are selling rocker arms.
Yeah. Did you get it finally?
No.
Oh. Okay.
The freaking light's screwing me up because my depth perception's off.
All right. Justin says, Kate, are you ready for January yet? And then we laugh. There is so much work to do between now and January. Oh my goodness. Just getting started, but I'm actually very, very excited. So January is definitely my busiest month of the entire year. We have a ton of sales for one thing. So I got to keep up with the buying and the sending out and all of that. But there's so much travel because I'll be gone for several days for the racing show, and then I'll be gone for several days with Race Logic, and then I've got lots of video editing to do. So I'm not quite ready, but I'm going to do everything I can to be as prepared as I possibly can be before then. All right. Donnie is calling us chickens. So, all right, here, pick a card.
I'm asking you, obviously.
Okay, that's what we've established now. So you ask me.
Would you ever consider writing to someone in jail as a pen pal?
I've already done that.
Your ex-husband?
Yeah.
You're pen pals with your ex-husband who's in prison, right?
I totally did. Yes. Yeah. I don't know that needed to be public.
Well,
all right. All right. If you could bring one famous person back from the dead, who would you pick?
Gosh. Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was never a fan.
Yeah.
But damn, can you imagine if he was still alive today?
Yeah.
Of course, he would probably shit a brick at looking at NASCAR, which might be what NASCAR needs is somebody like Dale Earnhardt to go, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Right up there. All right. Brian says, hey guys, huge IMCA stock car class in the works and also another crate late model coming also.
Cool.
Yeah. That's going to be exciting. Yes. And Mikey says, are you still doing the Winning Motorsports marketing program? No, I am not. Thank you so much for asking. I mean, people ask me questions. I got a YouTube channel.
You can lead horses to water, but you can't make them drink.
No, they just want you to do it for them. And unless I am ready to start a social media marketing agency, which I may at some point, at that point, I'd probably bring some of them back. But there's still a ton of helpful free information over on my YouTube channel, which is Winning Motorsports Marketing. And so that's good. All right. Jeff's got a question here. He says, a guy told me he adjusts the lifters on a 602 at 1/8 of a turn preload because the engine is cold and the lifter isn't pumped up yet. Would that classify him as an idiot? No,
because we use 3/4 of a turn. So we do 3/4 of a turn preload, and I'll tell you why. So you've got the hydraulic lifter, obviously. So you've got the piston in there. And then you got the button on top, flapper valve. Down below, you got the spring and the ball check. So the reason we preload that lifter 3/4 of a turn, not 1/8. 1/8 used to be GM's old recommendation. So 3/4 of a turn, what it does is it loads that what the fuck? It loads the damn where the fucking push rod goes.
Okay.
It preloads that against the freaking piston inside, so it seals off that mating surface between the two of them. And when you do that at higher RPM, you have no bleed down. So that's why we do it. Because
you don't want.
No, you don't want. Yeah, I mean it's hydraulic lifter, so I mean you can have bleed down. So the tighter that's sealed off, then the less bleed down you get, which means the less lift you end up losing.
Okay. Cool. Okay. That makes sense.
Button to the piston. Button.
Oh, that's one of those interesting words. How people say
right.
It in
I just got confused in my own self there.
I say button.
Trying to explain that.
Other people say button.
Deal. Right.
Yes.
Which when you include all of that, okay, let's go back to the rocker thing.
Okay.
When you include all that, all right, with what we're doing there, and then you got a wimpy ass little 5/16 push rod that's,
what,
that
8 inches long,
7 and whatever inches long.
I would have gone with 8 on that.
At any rate, So like you include all that, and then you got some assholes out here trying to sell fucking rocker arms that they claim are rated because they think that, 5,000th lift is going to be worth however much horsepower.
Oh, like 40.
Like, oh no, it was like what,
25% or something?
15% or
Mm-hmm.
1 point, whatever it is. It's a fucking crock of shit. So, at any rate, the reason we're doing that is to, number one, yes, seal off that button to that piston, which prevents leak down at around the outside of the lifter.
Okay. That makes sense.
So no, that an eighth is fine. 3/4 is better.
Great.
And I can prove that all day on the fucking dyno.
Okay. All right, next. Mikey says, I appreciate everything you taught us and can't thank you enough. It's taking me to amazing opportunities. I'm so excited for you, Mikey. You worked very hard at learning some of the marketing tactics and social media things. He really came through. There's still some in your can, unless you dumped it out. No, there's only stupid crappy beer. And we gotta wrap this up anyway. I've got a class at 8.
Oh, dude.
So, yep. Okay. All righty. And then Donine says, this is what we meant. So, like, checkered flag, chicken, and I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. We can do one more card, though.
Yeah. Is it something like rooster switch or unless it's like...
All right. This is like, what's it say? Would you rather?
Would you rather? Okay. All righty.
All right, that'll be really quick and easy.
Oh, yeah. I already know the answer. Your answer to this question.
Do you? Do you want to pick a different one?
Well, I'll keep this one. I'll do this one too, but I already know the answer. Oh, okay. I probably know the answer to this one too. All right. Steve, would you rather have a road trip with Donald Trump or O.J. Simpson?
Oh, Donald Trump all day long.
See, that was like so easy.
I mean, that's like a no-brainer. I mean, we can be grabbing people by the peas on as we're rolling down the road.
All right, next. Would you rather give up sex for a year or your cell phone for a year?
Cell phone.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, next up, what do you got?
Would you rather be handcuffed to the most annoying person you know for 24 hours or go camping with someone who likes you, but you don't like back?
Honestly, I'd go camping. I'd go camping.
At least you can ignore somebody.
I could ignure them, or I could like go to
I thought I saw a glimmer in your eye when it said, would you rather be handcuffed?
Oh. No, you know how I don't, you guys can't really tell when I'm on camera, but I'm not the most social person. I'm just not. I mean, would you agree, Steve?
You're not like a social butterfly.
I am not. Like, I mean, if we're doing something that we all enjoy and like we're at the races or at a trade show or something, but just in general, not so much. Like, okay, like, and if this is somebody that was annoying to me and I don't hit people, so
not anymore.
No, I don't do that anymore. I don't hit people anymore. So that means I could never calm them down. Oh, winner chicken dinner. That's what it was. Winner chicken dinner. Okay, awesome. Oh, thank you. I couldn't tell what the little emojis were. Dinner. That's supposed to be dinner. All right. And one last, I think we'll take this as our last question here.
That's fine.
Justin says, what should someone look out for when going the 604 road? Used, needing freshened versus new.
Okay. The used market is sketchy. I'm just going to say it. I mean, it is 1,000% sketchy. What I would do, I've got certain customers of mine that I know how their maintenance schedule is. I know the amount of time that they've run the engine. I mean, they're, and it doesn't have to be me. I mean, you can call other engine builders and they'll be able to tell you the same thing because they've all got that good customer or good customers who they know the shit's maintained correctly, all that stuff. That would not be an engine I would be scared of buying secondhand. Mm-hmm. I would be scared of going on Racing Junk or something like that.
Or Facebook
Marketplace and going, oh, this is a Hendron motor or a so-and-so motor. And, because I get these calls every day. I get people who are like, this is on Facebook Marketplace or Racing Junk or whatever. And it's a Hendron motor. I'm like, okay, what color seals does it have? And they're like, it's got yellow seals. I'm like, those haven't been a thing for freaking 7 years, but it's only got 25 laps on it. No, it doesn't. shit like that. So it's a sketchy deal used, because what ended up happening is, like, a lot of people want 604s last year, and still now they're very scarce to come by, new ones.
Yeah.
Once that started happening, the used market went insane. So you had everybody and their brother going out in their backyard, digging out their old late model and pulling the engine out of it and selling it on these sites as, a viable, good 604.
Yeah.
So to me,
and slapping a couple of stickers on the valve covers.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And calling them, whatever engine. So yeah, the used market is extremely sketchy. So I would, again, you can call somebody like me, you can call any number of other engine builders that are out there, and probably say, hey, who's your good customers who cycle through their stuff rapidly? Mm-hmm. And, I know I'm going to get a good piece. And then they can give you, people to talk to like that.
Another important aspect.
As far as like the new stuff goes, that's like a bit of a pain in the ass right now to get a hold of for anybody. They're there, but it kind of depends on the price you want to pay for them. So in other words, I deal a lot with probably the two of the biggest, GM Performance dealers on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. And
so shout out to both City Chevrolet and in the Charlotte area, and Newsom Raceway Parts.
So neither one of them have 604s right now. Hoping to get them soon, but they don't know because GM's being dicks, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so I sell to you what I pay for the motor. I can't say what that is, but trust me, it's not what you're going to find like a new one on Jegs or Summit for. I'll put it that way. So I'm always looking out for the best deal for the customer, because I don't care about making $2 off a fucking engine. I'd rather make the money off of labor, blueprint, and doing stuff like that. So that's what my business is. So that being said, yeah, the new market is sketchy at best right now. We've had new engines that we've been able to do, but it's about as fast as they come in, they're sold.
Well, the other thing I'd add to this is I would check with whatever series that you are running, because not all series will even allow you to blueprint or freshen an engine. So you really need to be careful about, I don't know where you are in the country in the Justin. So if you're in Midwest and you're in IMCA country, it's going to need to be an IMCA sealed engine. Right. You can't just use any old engine. And in that case, I could direct you to like Friesen Chevrolet.
Yeah, Friesen would be a good option.
Would be go there. If you're racing
dirt, about the only one I'd recommend in the Midwest.
Yeah. If you're like in dirt car country, then you wanted to go with a rebuilt engine of some kind, you don't do those. There's like 11 engine builders in the Northeast that are dirt car.
I'm not series. A big fan of that, but yeah, it's just,
I'm not saying I am, but it doesn't matter what we're a fan of or not. If you show up at the racetrack and you've got seals that they don't accept, and now you've spent all this money to be thrown out before you even get to make a lap, that's the question you want to ask, depending on where you are in the country. Mm-hmm. It's going to depend on which series seals will be accepted.
Yeah, like us, we do Crate Racing USA, which is accepted everywhere in the entire country other than IMCA land. And then we do Rush, which is also accepted everywhere in the country other than IMCA land. And we also do Mideast Modified, or Mideast, which is also accepted everywhere in the country other than IMCA land. The only thing I don't do is IMCA.
So does Dirt Car accept those other seals?
I don't know, because honestly, dirt cars hold in the whole Northeast is not that much, and usually it's like 602 modifieds.
All I'm saying is, it's a question worth asking.
604 stuff, I don't even know what they do. I assume somewhere in the Midwest they got like UMP 604s, but I know they accept the Crate Racing USA seals and all that stuff.
Okay. So. It's just a really important question.
It's kind of a weird
That's the whole point, and we can't really predict it. Right. There could be some track rules. I was talking to somebody last week that their track rules are that you can't rebuild them, you can't fix them, you can't do anything to them. So it really depends. I agree. And so what does that mean? It means that you could cheat up the hell out of it, and they don't even have the they don't even set themselves up for the ability to even tear them down.
Yeah.
So anyway, just making sure you ask those questions, because this is definitely not a forgiveness rather than permission situation.
No.
You want to make sure you've got permission. Otherwise you're just wasting that money, or then you have to turn around and sell it and start from scratch. All right. And I see,
yeah. I don't want to get on the IMCA kick. Anyways, go ahead.
Good. All right. We're going to wrap things up anyway, because we're 5 minutes over here. So William says hello. And he says, I have a low mileage, one owner Hendron 604, not for sale. So that's pretty fun. Do you have any last words before you wrap things up, Steve?
I do not.
I do not either.
No more words of wisdom.
No more.
Or lack of wisdom.
Well, all right. Well, I want to thank you all for being here, wherever you're watching this from. If you could, like our page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and subscribe to our podcast over on iTunes, Spotify, wherever if you're listening to us on the podcast. And and I do have one last announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure, if you want to win our July giveaway, go to CrateInsider.com /giveaway. And we are giving away a whole valve spring changing kit. So we've got a valve spring changer with a speed handle, valve lash adjusting tool, your choice of your Beehive springs or 602 springs, whichever fit your particular application. So the Beehive, it's over $400. Yeah. And plus you'll get a t-shirt and a couple of koozies as well. So be sure to do that, because when...
Oh, you cheaped out on the hat? You're not going to send them a hat?
There's probably, we'll give you a hat too. I didn't mean to cheap out on the hat. Yeah, we'll add a hat. So now it's over $500. No, I'm kidding.
$100 for a fucking hat.
No, it's not. But yeah, we'll throw a hat in there too. But yeah, it's over $400 value. So make sure you get your name in, and we'll do that drawing when Tori gets back, and we'll do our.
When's she getting back?
Well, she's just gone this week. She'll be back next Monday.
Oh, okay.
Monday, and that'll be August 1st.
All right. What's she doing?
She's at the beach.
She's like doing Tory things.
She's at the beach with her family.
Probably chasing
doing
Addison.
Ocean
probably chasing Addison around is what she's doing.
Probably, but yeah, she's at the beach doing ocean things.
So mini evil assistant. She's chasing her around.
Yep, absolutely. So again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of the show. And we plan to be back here next Monday, going live. Bring your questions. Great questions today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.